Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Business, and I have a few Benson clips to up your anxiety right at the start here. I like the ship, and Jesus, that was close. I like how maneuverable it is. It feels a bit better than the Mahan does in that respect, and I don't have the Mahan review up yet, but in due time, I'll get to that. But just wanted to show some gameplay here of the Benson, and probably by next week I should have the Mahan review, which is rapidly becoming my most played destroyer in the game, and I really, really enjoy it quite a bit. But as far as the Benson's concerned, I can say that it cannot go one-on-one, or at least I can't, against the Fletcher. And especially with the survivability expert like this guy has, where he has 20,000 health and I have a fair bit less. Those guns just rip this ship apart, and unfortunately got into a situation here where I pretty much knew I was going to die. Or am I? Yeah, I honestly did not expect that result at all. Managed to Citadel the New Orleans that was over there, kill a Mikhail Kutuzov, and get their Lexington as well after that. So I thought it was down in the dumps, and boom, somehow managed to pull it back, and we won a pretty good match that round. But in this one, it's Chibster in the Tirpitz, Kami in the Mikhail Kutuzov, and myself in the Benson, and we're just going to skip right ahead to about 3.5 minutes in. Now this Kagero and I were working pretty well here at the start of the match, where we were pushing ahead, trying to obviously scout for their destroyers, get people spotted, and so on and so forth, get in a position to be able to launch our torps for maximum effectiveness. And the curious thing about this match is that by the end of it, when you take a look at the mini-map and see where all the fighting happens, like I personally have never seen a match on Land of Fire play out like this. And the Kagero does a set of torps here, right on the Low Yang, and I mean, this guy knows he's a goner, and I guess he didn't have Last Stand equipped because maybe it was a new captain or something, but either way, he accepted the inevitable and met his fate. So now, luckily, the Fubuki decides to show up for whatever reason, I'm not entirely sure, so that's not a good idea when you're the only other destroyer remaining on your team. And yeah, they have the Lexington as well, which will obviously be able to spot any of our destroyers and still be able to constrict some of our team's movement if he's really aggressive. But when you're talking about handling an enemy team and you remove their destroyers from the equation, I mean, that means a whole hell of a lot, especially when you're talking about a tier 9 max game, not having those torp walls that, obviously this guy's sending out right now. Once he gets taken out, I mean, it just means so much to the movement and the ability for a team to confidently push forward. Now, whether or not they actually do that is another matter altogether, because frankly, the majority of players have no idea when to seize an opportunity, let alone if there's an opportunity that even presents itself. Now, you did see there, and you could take a look at the top left on the player panels, Kami damn near got taken out. He only has 2,300 HP remaining, I think, and yeah, Kutuzov, cruisers, you just have to be really careful about that type of stuff, and he unfortunately got caught in a turn, I think, and lost a hell of a lot of health there. But amazingly enough, he's gonna keep fighting on, and you'll see by the end just what he's capable of. So yeah, about 2,300 health. Crazy. So when it comes to destroyer gameplay, I'm usually at a distinct disadvantage because of the fact that I don't have concealment expert on any of my destroyers, and that ends up meaning a lot when an enemy destroyer can play within your concealment range but you're not in theirs. If they can maintain that range, whether it's like a half kilometer or more, or even less, you have to kind of respect that, because that's pretty damn hard to do against a target that is as nimble as a destroyer, if they can maintain that buffer, you know. But that's led to some issues, of course. You know, the Benson does have the advantage of over the Mahan of having a 6.4 kilometer detection range, and granted that's with the camo. Obviously, what is it? I think it's 6.6 without the camo, so not terribly bad, but you know, certainly better than the Mahan. And when you get the concealment expert skill, you know, that helps out drastically, and being able to not only get closer to targets for the torps, but you're also increasing your buffer for invisifire, and that's a very, very important thing for something like a gunboat. Now, the other big advantage the Benson has, at least in my opinion, is the turret traverse, which I think is 5 seconds for 180 degrees. My God, I mean, these things move like lightning, so if you get into a close quarter situation, you're always going to be able to have turrets on target, and that is something the Mahan does suffer with a fair bit. There is an optimal range for the Mahan to fight at, and it's further away than the Benson. And of course, the Benson has, I think, even a higher rate of fire than the Mahan, so that's pretty insane. Now, against this York here, I am trying to keep him out of my concealment range, so that's why I set the torps. They undoubtedly were spotted by his fighter plane that he sent up, so, you know, that made him come to a stop or slow down, and that's fine. I don't necessarily care if my torps hit. It's just the fact that I'm trying to control the situation and maintain my stealth. Now, the dive bombers from our Lexington reveal the Fubuki, and I'm perfectly okay getting out of concealment to take care of a ship that is very hard to find on an average. So managed to knock him out, and you know, destroyers are always priority number one over any other type of ship, and at least in my gameplay, they've got to die. So you can always tell when you're targeted in a destroyer too, like when a team kind of works together on that. It sucks, but you know, it's very important for the overall movement of your team and being able to, again, push into areas not necessarily uncontested, but you know, a little bit more easily, and with a little less fear of being blindsided by a wall of torps. But now we're in a situation here where the enemy Izumo is facing away, and I'm in a good position to be able to start getting some fires and some damage on him, and there's also the Lexington, of course, so I just wanted to try to get some fires on the Izumo and then start engaging the carriers. So I do pop smoke because, of course, those damn bombers, man. I'll tell you this, if you haven't been dropped on by a Lexington yet in a destroyer, you're lucky as hell. Those are so damn powerful now. I mean, those 1,000-pound bomb upgrades that the latest patch gave them, it's phenomenal just how dangerous they actually are. You know, I watched a North Carolina within 3 waves of dive bombers. Yeah, it was yesterday. He lost 22,000 health, and I think that was even on the semi-low side of things. I mean, he got nailed, and that was right at the start of the match, and those planes, I mean, the guy only lost a few planes, so I think that's a pretty damn good trade, all things considered. So we've taken out the Lexington, and that gives us even more breathing room, having both the carrier and the destroyers taken out. I mean, that's basically a dream scenario for any team, to be able to start getting really aggressive and pushing in against the enemy. Now the Izumo is suffering a fair bit here. He's on fire, and I'm going to start laying down even more fire on him. Our Hatsu is in a bad position now. He's being pursued, and now he's dead, unfortunately. So looks like the cruisers finally got a hold of him there. But I do have Demolition Expert on this captain, and I gotta say, it helps a lot. I mean, combined with a 2.8 second reload, I mean, that's insane. So when you combine that rate of fire with Demolition Expert, I mean, if you can get an enemy, and especially a battleship, like in a turn, and he's got his turrets facing away from you and you're behind an island, I mean, my god, the amount of damage you can do in a very short period of time is astonishing when you start racking up all these fires. And I have now set a triple fire on the Izumo, and shit's getting real over here at the cap, so time to start engaging some of the cruisers here. I was hoping for some citadels there against the Mogami, but that obviously wasn't happening. So, and now he's at an angle, and it's definitely not going to be able to penetrate the citadel. So I switched to HE, and I'm trying to close a little bit here. I'm mainly worried about him doing a torp spread and me being too close to dodge it. Although, considering how that went with the Fletcher at the start, maybe I would be able to. But get a bit closer, trying to see if I can knock out some turrets or something, try to get some superstructure damage, and I'm pretty much expecting my death here at any moment. Managed to get Arsonist on the Azumo, so I burned him down. I've got shells coming in against the Atago. The Torps managed to take out the Mogami, and boom, the Atago's down too. Now I just have Stangren in his North Carolina to contend with, and I have smoke ready to go. So go ahead and launch another set of HE shells at him and pop my smoke, and now it's time to get to work. So apologies to Stangren, because honestly this part of the video really sucks. If you've been in this position before, I know I have been, and quite a few times actually, where there's nobody here to help him, and there's a destroyer, and more specifically a gunboat, that's in the smoke, and they're just lighting me up, or obviously in this case him. So I am not content with just sitting in the smoke. I do rock forward and backwards a fair bit, because when it comes to a gunboat with a high rate of fire, you're basically giving your position away every time you fire. So the longer you stay in the spot, the more likely they are to get a bead on your position as far as watching where those shells are coming from. It doesn't always work, of course, because it's really hard to gauge the depth as far as a target in the smoke that is continually firing like that. But managed to get another fire on him, also get Confederate there too, so yay. But you'll see me actually trying to fight with my dispersion here because of my ship's position. So I'm firing broadside, which actually makes it more likely that I'm going to have shells that miss and not go where I want them to. Although that last fire was set pretty nicely. That shell just went right around and hit on the stern. Now, that's actually something that comes into play quite a bit with battleships. The length of the ship adds to the dispersion and the likelihood of whether or not you get the hits that you're looking for. So I hit the jets here because Stangren did fire his main gun, so I'm basically weapons free. I can do whatever I want for the next 30 seconds, obviously, and he has his turrets not even facing me, but it's because I didn't know that Chipster was running in to do a torp run on him. And so yeah, Wild Chipster appears, and he says, Stangren says that he was going for the ram there, and kind of messed that up for him a little bit. But it was pretty intense moments there. I wasn't expecting this fight to happen in this area on Land of Fire. I've never seen a battle form like this. It's just very weird. And, you know, it goes to show that, I mean, you could play the game quite a bit and it can still surprise you with some new things. Now, this was also a surprise. This was the highest damage match I've ever had in the Destroyer. And 290 hits, 2 torp hits, 3 kills, 15 fires, and okay base XP, mainly because I didn't cap anything, of course. So if this was like, you know, the regular domination mode, then yeah, probably would have had quite a bit more. But look at that fire damage, holy shit. But there's a lot more of this to come, and I will have a few more videos up soon. But thanks for watching today, guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care.